So today we're going to talk about inherited traits versus learned behavior. And so the goals I want to keep for y'all to keep in mind and to achieve is to be able to define and give examples of both inherited traits and learned behavior, and also be able to identify whether they are inherited traits or learned behavior based on examples that are given. So let's go ahead and start. So, what are inherited traits? Well, they are characteristics that or behaviors that is passed down from parents. Um, so this can mean many things. Um, this could either mean a gene that you get, for example, like hair color or eye color. This could also mean a disease that is passed down. It's anything that is passed down from your parents. And parents are going to get this from your grandparents, and that's going to keep going up, and you will have those inherited traits from those generations. So example I have up here is I have a picture of the Kardashian family. And if you take a closer look, um, you kind of see that they look alike. And it's a good example of inherited traits because we see they all have brown hair, well, except the one who dyed her hair. Um, but they all have the same like face structure. They have same eye color. So those are some examples of inherited traits that are passed down. Some more examples of inherited traits is again how we look. These are going to be your eyes. It can either be your eye shape, your eye color. Um, it could be your hair. It could be your hair color, your skin color, what type of skin you have. Maybe if it's dry or more oily. It could be your face structure, like heart face. Like I have a round face, so I may have gotten that from my parents, or it could be from grandparents. It's whatever is passed down. Animal instincts would be like migrating, hibernation, building a nest, or spinning a web. It's something that was passed down genetically, even though it's something that you may think that may be learned. It's just in their DNA, their genes, to know to do that once they were born. Animal traits that are inherited are, beak shapes and feather or fur patterns. So I have a little picture down here, and we have some different birds in here. And as you always notice, pelicans always have that deep shape, like in Nemo, where the little pelican comes in and helps Nemo. They all have that shape, that type of beak shape. It's not going to change. It's something that how it's always been passed down from those pelicans. So there's a few pictures on there for y'all to look at, just examples of inherited traits. So moving on to learned behaviors. These are behaviors that are learned through time and experience. These traits have to be taught. It's not something that they're born knowing to do, or that is something in their DNA. It has to be taught by someone like a mother or a father, or someone else who is close enough to that animal or person to learn that information. And these traits are also known as acquired behavior or acquired traits. So I put this example of this dog riding the skateboard because it's something that dogs usually don't do. It's something that their owner might have taught them, or someone else that who taught them to ride the skateboard. But it's not something that's going to be passed down to this dog's litter of puppies. More examples of learned behavior are riding a bike. That's something that is taught. You don't know how to ride a bike after you're born. It's something that your parents or grandparents probably taught y'all. Walking, talking, swimming is the same thing. It applies. It's learned. It's not something that you're born with. I've never seen any babies walk out right after being born. So it's something that someone helps you to teach you to learn how to do these things. Also, animal using tools or learning tricks. Just like that dog riding the skateboard, it's something that was learned and taught by someone else. This could also mean like a dog learning how to sit or a dog doing tricks. It could also be an animal putting out bait to attract other animals in so that they can capture it. That's something that they learned. It's not something that they knew how to do. It's also animals. Animals learn how to avoid situations. Like this picture up here with this little mouse with the helmet on. Probably that mouse has eaten that cheese before and gotten an injured foot. So that animal would not go back to that same trap, or we would hope that it would stay away from traps because he knows what it does now. Okay, lastly, we're going to just review quickly over inherited traits and learned traits with an example. So the example I have is just talking about a bear. So bears are born to hunt, and they know that. It's not likely that a bear is going to go over and hug humans instead of either chasing them or biting them. It's just they are born knowing that they're hunters. So that would be their inherited trait because that is something that they're born with that is passed down from bear to bear to bear. A learned trait would be learning to take food from humans. You hear all those stories about bears getting into cars and stealing human food when hikers are out, or even if they're at the picnic table next to them, those bears will go into that car, break in, and get the food. So that means that they learn the food preferences, their food preferences. So let's say there's a bag of oranges, trail mix, and chocolate. So let's say that they like the oranges out of everything and leave behind the trail mix and the chocolate. They learned that day that they liked oranges better than anything else. So what they're going to do next is come back to that location hoping that there's some oranges left because they've tracked down where their food preferences are located. So those are all learned traits that the bears will learn or did learn after their inherited trait, which was hunting. So don't forget that our learning goals for today were to be able to define and give examples of inherited traits and learned behavior, and also to be able to identify whether they are inherited or learned by giving examples. So in class, we're going to be reviewing these by doing an activity. So I want you to be able to define these two vocabulary words and differentiate them, know the difference between them, and be able to match them with examples that are given. So just review over these terms so you'll be ready for class, and we'll see you Wednesday. Bye.